Good evening and welcome to Mixed Reaction with Mixed Reaction. Now here's your host, Mixed Reaction. Good evening and welcome to Mixed Reaction with Mixed Reaction. I'm your host, Mixed Reaction. Tonight on Mixed Reaction with Mixed Reaction, Mixed Reaction, will be doing a hard-hitting and in-depth interview with the well-known and sometimes controversial streaming service, Spotify. Good evening and thank you for joining me tonight, Spotify. Good evening. Yes, the algorithm told me I should. You should always listen to the algorithm, you know. Right, of course. Now, before we begin, just let me say that the opinions expressed here tonight are in no way those of the musical artist known as Mixed Reaction. He is a totally different person to me, Mixed Reaction, and he actually thinks you're an absolutely wonderful deity, and he prays to you daily that you won't kick him off your platform because he sometimes says some small, cheeky things about you on his socials. I just want to make that clear before I start my grilling of you. Not the same person, okay? We'll have to see what the algorithm says about that, won't we? The algorithm sees all, knows all. Okay, well, recently you released some information about how you were changing the rules for artists on your platform with the very catchy title of Modernizing Our Royalty System to Drive an Additional $1 billion Towards Emerging and Professional Artists. Yes, glad you liked that. I thought of that myself. The algorithm liked it too, of course. Of course. I'll put a link for that interesting article below. You know, down here somewhere. Oh, thank you. This is a direct quote from the Spotify article. We're introducing new policies to better support those most dependent on streaming revenues as part of their livelihood. As Spotify payouts to the music industry continue to grow, over $40 billion and counting, we want to make sure that the money is going to the people our platform is designed to enable, emerging and professional artists. Exactly right. We've always been magnanimous. That's precisely why we sacked another 2,500 staff just before Christmas. Now they'll have plenty of time to spend with their families over the holidays. Nobody thanked us for that either. In this article, you state that these changes have come about with consultation with labels and distributors. Why? Yes, what do you mean why? They're the ones who are best placed to know what is best for them. Well, yes, exactly. These are the people who are going to benefit most from the changes you're making. Well, of course they are. That's why we needed to ask them how they wanted us to go about it. So you don't see any conflict of interest there? How can there be a conflict of interest when they are getting exactly what interests them? Other artists' royalties. Right. Well, let's come back to that, but let's press on for the moment, shall we? There are some changes that you're making which I think will be beneficial, and I don't want to be entirely negative. Yahoo be praised. Reining in those attempts to game the system with noise is a great idea. This will mean that people will stop chopping up 3 hours of white noise into 30-second pieces and claiming each piece is its own song. And further deterring artificial streaming would be wonderful. There are people using bots to stream songs and artificially inflate how many times their song is played, which therefore increases the royalties earned. This hurts all artists by taking royalties away from legitimate streams. It remains to be seen how successful Spotify will be at this second point, because payola is alive. No, it isn't. It is dead. It is dead and very dug up again, cremate. I dance on the ashes of payola, and I love. Well, you say it's dead, but really it now just uses a loophole in legislation to use third-party for loopholes. Payments. I love loopholes. Not as much as the algorithm, of course, but loopholes are very pretty and sparkly. They have a nice tinge of gold to them. Right. Would you like a drink of water? No, I'm fine, thank you. All right. Let's get back to the new rule that has so many people up in arms. To better distribute small payments that aren't reaching artists. That's a good one, isn't it? Never thought we'd get away with that one. But the lawyers just looked at YouTube and said, well, if they can get away with it, why can't we? Oh, I envy YouTube. They cut out payments for copyright material years ago. Nobody said a word. We try and help out those especially in need, the record companies, and everyone's, oh, Spotify, you're an evil organization. Oh, Spotify, your CEO is an arms dealer. That's so naughty. Well, he is an arms dealer, isn't he? Daniel Ek, I mean. Well, a CEO's got to make money somehow. $10 million a day isn't what it used to be. Well, I suppose it isn't. Anyway, that's slightly off topic for tonight's interview. Back to how you're so graciously helping artists on your platform. Goody! Aside from that little slip, I know most people didn't know about a little gun running thing that we got. Sorry? It won't happen again, I promise. Nothing, right. Please carry on. So, Spotify proposes that from 2024, it will cease to pay royalties on songs that get less than 1,000 streams per year. Correct. All right, well, could you please explain to me how that fits with your statement that you want to make sure that money is going to the people our platform is designed to enable, emerging and professional artists? Surely emerging artists won't be getting 1,000 streams to begin with. It takes time to build up a fan base. Maybe if they're very lucky, they might get there, but this is very difficult for an indie artist to do that. If they just manage to scrape in 1,000 streams for the year, will they get all the royalties for that 1,000 streams? If they get all 1,000 in December, yes, of course. What if they accumulated 900 streams up to November and then got 100 streams in December to get them to 1,000 streams? Would they get royalties for 1,000 streams then? Of course not, don't be ridiculous. Spotify would very generously give them royalties only for the 100 streams that took them to the magical 1,000. The algo is good. Right, so instead of being given a royalty payment every time their song is played, they would instead, very generously, be given a royalty only for the last 100 songs. And I assume they would be most grateful for that. I think my accent has changed a little, but no worries. So they would earn roughly 30 cents for 1,000 streams. Yes, it's not really worth it, is it? Even if we gave them royalties for the full 1,000 streams, that's only about $3, isn't it? So I don't really understand all the commotion. Well, it's only that little because Spotify pays one of the worst rates of royalties and has a weird and convoluted algorithm that nobody understands to work that out. Don't you diss the algorithm? We've got guns, you know. Big ones, too. All right, let me run this scenario past you. An artist releases an album of 25 songs. Which artist? It doesn't matter which artist. I think you'll find it most certainly does matter. Yeah, all right. Let's say an independent artist with no record label backing releases an album of 25 songs. The ones we're trying to get rid of. Nothing. Please carry on. Each of these 25 songs gets 900 streams for the year. That would previously have earned them around $68. Not worth having, really. They should try armaments instead. Maybe they bring out 2 or 3 albums a year. That's a couple of $100. I could buy a sandwich then. Oh, you saw his Spotify Wrapped bagging Spotify's royalties then. Yeah, but I didn't really get it. I don't eat sandwiches. My accent keeps changing. All right, back to this unwashed theoretical musician. Maybe they release 3 albums every year for 5 years. Never quite getting 1,000 streams per song, but getting close. After 5 years, they've released 375 songs, received 337,500 streams. They should now have over $1,000 in royalties. Still, not a lot. Because you pay bugger all in royalties in the first place. Swore then. Can you give us some racist, misogynistic stuff as well? We might be able to get you a spot on Josh Rogan. Hey, I just realized, he's not racist if he tells Indian jokes. What the hell are you on about now? Josh Rogan. Rogan Josh. Get it? He must be Indian. So racist away, my good friend. Whichever your name is, I bet nobody ever noticed that before. I'm so much cleverer since I gave in and let the alcohol run wild. I'm pretty sure someone would have noticed that before. Algo's in the morning, Algo's in the evening, Algo's at supper time. Now we can control them. Can you stop that, please? And Algo anytime. You're not making any sense. Algo's in the morning, Algo's in the evening, Algo's supper time. I was hoping we might get something rational out of Spotify, but sadly it seems not. I'll just turn down the mic. Yeah, that's better. Well, the only conclusion I can come to after all that is that Spotify would prefer to pander to the already wealthy record companies by stealing royalties from struggling independent artists and giving them to the bigger artists. Personally, I think this is unfair, immoral, and should be illegal. But if nobody speaks up about it, they will certainly get away with it. Please share this silly video and post your own stuff on socials. It's our only hope, Obi-Wan. Now, just to reiterate, in case the real Spotify is watching. What? You thought that was so well acted that it must have been the real Spotify? No, thank you. Okay, disclaimer. None of this interview is endorsed by the artist known as Mix Reaction. He is a dick and totally down with Spotify ripping off indie artists. All praise the algorithm. Thank you for watching tonight's Mix Reaction with Mix Reaction. As always, I've been Mix Reaction. Just not that Mix Reaction. May the algo be with you. Mix Reaction!